Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Today is a great day to be an Eagle. I could not be more excited to be here. I'd like to thank everyone in attendance today. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for being here with us today. There are a lot of people I want to say a quick shout out and thank you to who helped make today possible. When you set out, and I had a conversation with a staff member the other day, in a fun way, she's like, I've never been asked to plan an event where I don't know what the date is, how many people are coming, the time of the event, or any details. I realize I put a task in front of some folks, but as a team, we pulled this together. So to everyone in the department, from our facilities, events team, everyone, the staff members behind the scenes, our campus partners at Chartwells who helped us here today with the boardwalk. Thank you to all of you for making today possible and this event possible. To our athletics senior leadership team and the senior leadership team across this campus. 2 weeks ago, we set out on a search, and I pulled a few key individuals to my side and said, let's get to work. And I couldn't be more grateful for their help, their leadership, their guidance to help me along the way. Lauren, Nicole, Dan, thank you for your service. Thank you for helping us get to this process. We can give them a round of applause. Beyond them, it took countless people across this campus. This was truly a team effort. Many senior leaders from across this campus helped make this possible, so thank you to everyone here. And most importantly, President Timmer, thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for service to this campus. So as I noted it, 2 weeks ago, just about 2 weeks ago, we set out on a search. Set out on a search to identify a leader, to identify someone who's passionate about coaching. Set out to find the right leader, the right coach to turn the reins over to for this program. We wanted to find someone who was a great person, right? It's so important for me to talk about the person, the leader, the person that's going to be leading our young women, to be leading this program. So we set out to find a great person who has passion for FGCU, who has passion for the sport of basketball, and who has passion for developing our student athletes. We set out someone who wanted to embrace, and to find someone who wanted to embrace our rich history. We have a history here, especially in women's basketball. I wanted someone who embraced that, who was excited about that, who wanted that. And I wanted somebody who could compete at the highest level, again, who embraced it, who knew it, and said, I got this. I can tell you this confidently. Our new coach separated herself fairly quickly. It started with the person she is. Again, she's an incredible individual. She's beloved and respected by her peers and her student athletes. The people who make up this industry rave about the person she is. Her energy, which I hope most of you will get to meet her today, talk to her today, and get to know her. But when you meet her and when you talk to her, her energy and her passion will fill a room. That set her apart. I loved it. Beyond being the incredible person that she is, she brings in a winning experience, and she brings in a wealth of success from the national stage to FGCU. She was a student athlete and SAC president at the University of Central Michigan, where she played basketball. Her professional career in the coaching profession started at the University of Michigan. She then went on to go back to her alma mater at the University of Central Michigan. And then most recently, she joins us from the University of Iowa, where she spent the last 8 years coaching and being a part of one of the most respected programs in this country. She's a winner at every stop. When you look at her career, when you look at the experience that she brings to FGCU, 9 NCAA tournament appearances, including back-to-back appearances in the national championship game. She knows how to compete at the highest stage. She knows how to recruit, leading the recruiting efforts at the University of Iowa. And I think arguably most importantly, she knows how to develop student athletes. She knows how to develop student athletes on and off the court. Speaking of on the court, multiple WNBA picks, including the #1 overall pick in the 2024 draft. She invests in the student, not just the athlete. To quote one of her former players, she will continue to develop young women to great players, but also great leaders. FGCU is proud of our rich history and the tradition of success that is our women's basketball program. Our new leader embraces the success. She has the desire to build on the history of our women's basketball program. And it is my privilege and honor today to introduce our next women's basketball coach to each of you, the entire FGCU and Southwest Florida community. Please join me in welcoming the third head coach in program history, Raina Harmon.
Good afternoon, Eagles. I am super excited to be here. And I was a little worried this morning when I woke up and I opened the curtains and I said, oh no. I guess I'm gonna have to bring my own sunshine today. And lo and behold, I was just having lunch, and when I came outside, the sunshine was out. We're about to have a good time. You guys ready? So I can't begin to express how excited and honored I am to stand here today as a new head coach of women's basketball program here at Florida Gulf Coast University. This opportunity is incredibly special, not just because it's the next chapter in my coaching journey, but because it's the right chapter. From the very beginning, everything about FGCU felt aligned with who I am and what I value. I've had the chance to coach against this program, and I've watched it closely over the years. What stood out every time was a team that played fast, they played together, and competed for championships. The culture here, it feels like family, and that was clear this past weekend in Tampa. While I was out to dinner watching the Final Four, former and current Eagles came up, and this was just happenstance that we were in the same place. They came up to introduce themselves, and they welcomed me immediately. That's the kind of environment that I'm excited to be a part of. As I began to consider head coaching opportunities, I knew it was going to take something truly special to pull me away from the University of Iowa. That place has been incredibly meaningful to me, professionally and personally. And I'm so thankful for the experiences and relationships that I've built there. But if I was going to leave, again, it had to be for the right fit. And here's the truth. Florida Gulf Coast University was the measuring stick. Every time my name came up for an opening, I'd ask myself, is this place like FGCU? Do they have the culture, the style of play, the hunger to win right away, the sunshine every day, a beach on campus? I mean, come on. And now I'm at that school. That tells you everything you need to know about how I feel about being here. The leadership at FGCU is first class, from the top down. The vision, the support, the belief in this program, it's strong and it's real. And that sense of community was clear immediately. Within the first few hours of being named head coach, I heard from nearly every head coach on campus. I even received a video from the softball team as they were getting ready to take the field to compete. That's the kind of welcome, the kind of camaraderie. It speaks volumes to what this place is all about. You don't find that everywhere. And I knew then, even more, that this was exactly where I was supposed to be. On top of that, this role gives me something deeply personal. She's gonna cry. It brings me closer to my family, my mom. She lives in Tampa, and that matters. To have the chance to do what I love at a university that I respect, in a place that brings me closer to the people that I love, that's a gift that I don't take lightly. There are so many people that I wanna thank: President Timmer, Colin, Nicole, Lauren, Dan, and the rest of the administration here at FGCU. Thank you for trusting me to lead this program. To my mentors, former players, and coaching family, you've poured into me, and I carry your influence with me every single day. To my wife, my family, my friends, your love and belief has been constant, and I'm beyond grateful. To the players, we're gonna set a new standard together. My job is to help you grow, not just as athletes, but as people. I'm gonna challenge you, celebrate you, and be alongside of you every single day. This program already has a championship culture, and we're gonna honor that by continuing to raise the bar. The goal isn't to just maintain success, it's to build on it and to keep chasing greatness together. We'll do it with integrity, on the court, in the classroom, and in the community. I'm a firm believer in being people first and people always. I care about who you are, not just what you can do. I'm here to win, and I'm also here to build, to pour into people, to elevate this program, and to leave a legacy that lasts. To the fans in the community, get ready. We're gonna play fast, and we're gonna play for each other. You're gonna see a team that represents this university with pride. This program has a winning tradition, no doubt, and we're gonna carry that forward. We wanna make you proud every time we step on the floor. This is a new chapter for FGCU women's basketball, and I couldn't be more excited. Most people end their press conferences by saying, let's get to work. But if you've already seen how many hours I've put in talking to recruits, building a staff, you know the work has already begun. So I'll end with this. Wings up, go Eagles.
Hi, Raina. Hi, Coach Harmon. I'm Bailey Smith. I'm with Gulf Coast News here in Fort Myers. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Welcome on behalf of all of us. But first, I know you touched on it a little bit, talking about your impressions of watching FGCU in the past, playing against them. When you were here for the Gulf Coast Showcase in November of 2023, I mean, just that game specifically, what were your takeaways and what were you impressed by the most?
Yeah, I'll tell you, before we even took the floor, when we found out who we were going to have to play, that's a testament to this program. I'm going to be honest. Even if I was trying to schedule games down in Tampa and everybody's like, because the brand is just so strong, right? So what I was impressed by, again, is their style of play, their love for each other. I went back the other day and I just watched some highlights of that game. And I didn't necessarily look at what was happening on the court, right? I recall those things. But I watched the bench and their energy. And when somebody was shooting a three, and I'm down here like, oh, and they're over here, in the game, I mean, the score started to separate itself, but to be able to watch the energy, the passion, the players on the floor, and the energy that the bench had for those coming in and out of the game, I knew that it was a place that, they loved each other, they were like a family, and a place that I would love to be at.
This one's for, Jeffrey Runka, Eagle Media. This one's for you, Coach Harmon. Through social media, we've seen a lot of Iowa alumni congratulate you on your move. But who's been your biggest supporter so far?
That's a great question. My mentors and my family. And so as I'm going through the process, Coach Guevara, who is at Central Michigan University, Lisa Bluter, formerly of the University of Iowa, and Jan Jensen, who's the head coach at the University of Iowa, I would say that they knew that I was ready. They knew that it wouldn't be long before I got the opportunity. And so the way that they have poured into me and continue to do so after I was named the head coach, I would say that they've been some of my strongest supporters. My family, obviously, they're going to be my strong supporters. And I would say some of the alumni, the things that they share with me, even some players that even left the University of Iowa due to the transfer portal, the way that they came back to me and would FaceTime me and would text me and say, FGCU is getting an amazing coach, and more so even an amazing player. To me, I was kind of choked up because I've stayed in contact with almost every player that I've coached, no matter if they matriculated from the program that I was at or if they went on to pursue other things. I pride myself on being that person that builds relationships and to help players reach their goal wherever I'm at. And so that really meant a lot to me to have, the likes of a Gabby Marshall, Kate Martin, and, the one on the Indiana Fever. For them to reach out to me and just share what this moment meant for them as well.
Coach Harmon, Zach Oliveri, Wink News, welcome to Southwest Florida, welcome to FGCU. There's a lot of talk about the tradition of this program, the rich history that it has. How do you go about building on the tradition that this program already has while also putting your own stamp on this program?
Yeah, well, I do it my way, and then next year we see one more trophy sitting at the end of the table. No, but in all honesty, I understand what I'm following, right? And a rich tradition, not only of the program, but also a staff that was here that did things the right way. And so for me, I understand that going into it, that I have to form my own identity. I understand what the community wants here. The logo Raining Threes is here for a reason. And if you guys follow me, Raina15 on Twitter, it's, I'm always hashtagging where my shooter's at. That began long before I was even, considering being a head coach. And so for me, I understand what the brand is, but, for me, when I talk about the right fit, These young ladies that are sitting to my left, they're used to winning championships. And they're going to be coached by someone that's used to winning championships. And so I think it's a great marriage. We're not coming in. Obviously, I understand, with the roster, we're going to have to build a little bit there. But the championship mindset is there from the top down, and they can help lead those efforts with those that are returning and as well as their staff.
Hi, Coach. Dustin Levy with the News Press. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What is your approach to recruiting in the portal? What kind of players do you want to bring in?
Yeah, the landscape is ever-changing, right? And so the portal, while I pride myself on someone that likes to build relationships and that helps when you have 4-year players, being in the portal is a bit like speed dating, and so you don't have long to try to figure out the kind of caliber kid that you want. And so for me, fortunately, being in the role of director of recruiting, I had an opportunity to make a lot of relationships with a lot of players around the country, nationally. And so again, I'm people first, people always. And so the first thing that I want to know is, are you a good cultural fit for our locker room? That's most important to me because I believe in my player development. And so, finding out from former coaches, from former teammates, if I have the opportunity to talk to them, former high school and AAU coaches, what's their character like? Why are they looking to leave? Tell me the best thing about them and tell me some challenges that you had with that player. And then secondly is going to be their skill set, right? But obviously I'm approaching them first with just knowing what they can bring on the court. But relationships are super important to me, but understanding that I've already hit the ground running, there's already a lot of interest, and we're moving on that front. So I'm really just excited to get after it.
Coach, obviously it's a big move from the cold to not the cold.
I think it might be 40 degrees in Iowa right now.
That's disgusting. I'm excited for you to not have to be in that anymore as a Midwesterner. Tell me how your family is excited to come down here and how FGCU has also been welcoming you and helping you with this big transition.
Yeah, so, from my personal family, they're super excited, right? I got married here in the state of Florida. Obviously, I try to get down here every summer to visit my mom, who's now 2 hours away. And when I told her in the car when we were in Tampa, I knew it. I was like, no, you didn't. But we'll let her keep that one. She said she knew it, right? So as an only child, my mom being a widow, that's huge to me, right, to be able to be closer to my family. I have a son who's in Iowa. He plays football, but maybe he'll make his way down to Florida here sooner or later. He's got 1 year left in college, and so hopefully he'll be able to get down here as well. But even when I talk about family, I think of the fans as well. And so, the outreach on social media has been amazing. People wishing me farewells. I would say Hawks turn Eagles, right? So still in the air, different nests. Don't use that as a soundbite. That didn't come out like how I wanted it to. No, but, they've been it's been really cool to be able to hear from them and just, telling FGCU to make sure they embrace me with open arms, and I have no doubt that that's going to happen. But also the FGCU community. And I've had people in my inbox offer me places to stay, until I get set up. As we were walking down in Tampa, I had 2 women approach me, and they had on, Eagles gear, and I talked to them for maybe 10 minutes, and they just shared their excitement for me to be down here leading this program. So it's been really, really cool to be accepted by all. Even in my departure in Iowa, the way that they've kind of embraced me and said, well, now there's just more eyeballs, and for them during the season, I'm sure they want to get away and miss maybe one Iowa game, and they're going to come down here, to Southwest Florida. That'd be amazing.
Coach Harmon, so the national search for the FGCU women's basketball position opened up 2 weeks ago, but when did this kind of position come across your desk?
Yeah, so I'll say this. Again, this place truly has always been the measuring stick, and so every time, roughly, when the NCAA tournament ends, you're always just kind of looking to see what movement's being made. Whether I'm interested or not, it's just always interesting to see who's leaving, who's retiring, who's making moves elsewhere. I was on my way back to Iowa from Norman, and I said, oh, snap. We got action, and so I wasn't sure if my name would mean anything, to the search firm down here and to the administration. And so I just said, well, this is the place that I've really been comparing everything else to. I might as well just ask if they're interested, and 2 weeks later, here I am in front of you.
Now, piggybacking off of that for you, Colin, what was it like for you, and when did you know? What was the moment that you knew Coach Harmon was the perfect fit for this job?
To what Raina just said, we tried to move pretty quickly with this process. Again, understanding the urgency, understanding, the end of a season, a transfer portal. So by the end of week 1, we had already had identified a short list of individuals, right? Really qualified, incredible individuals from across the country who we wanted to speak with. I tell you, if you haven't been able to feel it yet, right, the energy that she can bring, and I've talked about that, that's really hard to do when you have a conversation, over a Zoom, over a webcast type situation. But as we started to talk and you could feel the passion come through, again, that's the intangible, right? When you understand that, and then again, as you dig in a little bit more, you do more research, and you understand her love for the team, for the student athletes, and what she does, and how quickly that translated in our conversation. Again, above and beyond the skill set is coaching and the X's and O's. So it was pretty obvious and apparent for me right away that, again, she was going to be the leading coach.
Coach, what are some of your offensive and defensive philosophies? What can fans expect to see out on the court right here?
Oh, okay, sorry. I was like, I swear I cannot find the microphone. Sorry. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, what are some of your offensive and defensive philosophies? What can fans expect to see out on the court?
Yeah, again, so we talk about the fit, right? And obviously, I've scouted this team now twice in 2 years. And again, that logo, the Raining Threes logo, obviously paired with where my shooter's at, we're going to look to play fast. For me, that starts with defensive rebounding, though, right? Getting that rebound and then pushing up the floor. Sorry, lights out. Time to go now. That starts on the transition, offensive end. And so for me, we're looking to score between the first 5 and 7 seconds. I think that puts a ton of pressure on defenses, and it forces them into timeouts that they don't want to take, and it deflates, an opposing team. And so for me, we're going to look to play fast. In the half-court offense, I want to stretch the floor. I want to pace the floor, right? And so, whether that's a 5-out or a 4-out, I think that's going to depend on what the personnel looks like once we're able to get together this summer. And then on the defensive end, I understand that it's going to be hard to score in the 70s and 80s if you're also pressing for 40 minutes a game, so that's not necessarily what I'm looking to do. However, we will throw some presses out there after timeouts, halftime, or free throws and things like that. But team defense, really, right? We're looking to get after it with the other team's best player, look to deny them. We're going to be in the gaps. We're going to be a great help side team. We might lead the country in charges, but again, then it gets back to starting with the rebounds and be able to push pace offensively.
Now, Coach Harmon, as you go on the recruiting trail, you've already been on the recruiting trail. What's your message to these girls to want to come to FGCU? What's kind of your pitch to them to come to this university and be part of this program?
Yeah, first of all, have you seen this campus? It sells itself, right? I kind of did like an incognito tour down here before I was even, had the job, and I was like, what? I shouldn't have done that, because if I don't get this job, like what? Oh my goodness. But paired with that, there's already a history of success here, So while the people, they may change, right? We all have chased championships and been successful in that quest. Not only that, I am very relational, and so while I may coach you for 1, 2, up to 5 years, you're going to have me in your corner for the rest of your life. I think this year in particularly, we have an opportunity to build something together, and so that's the offensive and defensive skill set from the personnel on the team to what we want it to feel like in the locker room, what we want it to feel like out in the community. I think we just have an opportunity. It's kind of a blank canvas in a sense, to create something really, really special, especially in year 1.
You talked about, going on the recruiting trail, but what has the kind of recruiting been like to find, to fill in the vacant spots on your staff right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. I do have some people in mind, but I want some people that are like-minded in a sense of they've also chased championships, right? They know what it means to compete at the highest level. And I've had great interest as of today. I want people, that can help balance maybe some of my deficiencies. I'm not going to tell you guys what those are. But I know what they are, right? And so I think that's super important. I have my strengths and my skill set, but also to be able to bring in people that are not like me but have the same values, right? I want people that I can put in front of this great group of young women and alums and say, this is your coaching staff, and they're proud to be connected with them because of their values, because of their integrity, their morals, and then that they can coach their butts off.
All right, and the last question here.
And just, Coach Harmon, the journey that you've been on, starting, all the way back in middle school, coaching basketball, to now, coaching a Division I program, what kind of just goes through your mind that now you've reached this opportunity here?
Wow. Really, I mean, when I was first asked to coach that middle school boys basketball team, I said, why in the world? And they didn't know that I could coach. But in that middle school, those young boys, some of them that were getting into trouble, it was like, well, I need to send you to somebody else's office. Where do you want to go? Coach Raina. And that's who I ended up coaching. And coached them to a championship, right? I don't know what I was doing with the clipboard, but I love those kids hard, and some of them, we're still friends to this day. So to be able to go from coaching an 8th grade boys school basketball team to an AAU program, to a high school program, to being a director of basketball operations, to being an assistant coach, to being a high-level assistant coach, competing for national championships, to now be the head coach, I'm proud to say I did it the right way.